Alright, so this is gonna be a video about political polar polar pol pol polariz polara. So political so political polarization. What is that? Well, it's two things, kinda. One, it's a state, and another, it's a process. So when someone's calling it a state, they mean like the state of being polarized. Okay, that's not a good definition. They mean like how we are now, where everyone hates each other, no one agrees with each other, no one even wants to talk to each other. That's not mine, by the way. In other words, the process is the growing divide, and the state is the divide itself. Now, importantly, there's two kinds of political polarization. There's ideological polarization. We need to talk.
What's going on?
Do you seriously like Amori more than Earthbound?
Bro, what? Of course I do.
Alright, you're gonna need to give me some good reasons for that right now.
Bro, are you serious? The music, the characters, the storytelling, the map itself is beautiful.
The only reason your game exists is because Earthbound completely inspired it.
Yeah, and Amori did that 10 times better than Earthbound ever could.
Holy shit. Is this guy insane? I didn't realize my friend was so stupid. Holy fuck. This guy is on another level. What school did he go to?
Is this nigga serious? There's no shot. There's no way he genuinely thinks that. I think I'm gonna crash out.
Alright, well, I respect your opinion, man.
Alright, man, agree to disagree.
And then there's affective polarization.
There's probably some side effects, but I feel like getting the vaccine is probably better than having the virus.
Yeah, along with microchips and cancer, buddy! Haha! Electric car driver! Fuck you!
So with ideological polarization, it's purely we disagree on an idea. And it can be extreme, too. I mean, one person can think, I think college is a waste, I'm gonna make my kids play video games for a living. And another person can think, I'm never even gonna let my kids touch technology in their entire lives. But as long as you can say you do you at the end of that conversation, it's probably ideological. Now, affective, that's when the emotions start to really get involved. That's when couples break up, when friends stop talking, and usually what happens at Thanksgiving dinner. Now, as you might imagine, affective polarization tends to have a little bit more intense consequences, but they certainly both have consequences. One of the most common ones is that people start to see the other side as a threat to the country itself. And when that's the case, I mean, it becomes a lot harder to talk to them. Why would you even want to talk to them? If you think they're genuinely a threat to the country, I mean, it can start to feel like even talking to them is going to like infect you with some kind of mind virus, right? I mean, you hear people like Elon Musk saying, oh yeah, my son died of the woke mind virus. So you're not going to want to talk to someone that you hate, and you're certainly not going to want to talk to someone that hates you. But the most detrimental effect of this is that we start to fear the other side winning, which this is what really leads to that crazy political violence. I mean, I think like 12 people already tried to kill Donald Trump, and then Elon Musk was like, nobody tried to kill Biden yet. I'm curious. Now, in this day and age, almost every single person owns a phone. Almost every one of those phones has a social media app, and as long as you have those two things, then you can be heard by almost every single person on the planet. Which sounds like a good thing. But the big problem with this is that the most extreme people have the most extreme thoughts and say them at the most extreme volume. I mean, the normal people just start to get drowned out. You don't even hear them anymore. You only hear the craziest people out there. It's like insane.
Cancer, microchips, autism, League of Legends, government's tracking you! That's so funny, man! Fuck you!
I think this guy might need some of that too. Yeah, I got you, bro. Now, it's also important that we talk about how we got here to begin with. And one of the biggest things that contributes to polarization is called group polarization, which is the idea that when you talk with a bunch of like-minded people, you kind of end up getting a little bit more extreme. Now, like everything else ever in all of human everything, a big part of this is just the social reasons for it. We want to be accepted, we want to belong, so, we kind of shift our ideas just a little bit more extreme to agree with everyone else's, sometimes overestimating it a little bit. But also, when you talk with a bunch of like-minded people in a group, you start to hear your own ideas reflected in ways that you had no idea that you even could before. You start to hear about new stories that defend your idea, you start to hear it articulated in ways you never thought of before, and all in all, you end up a little bit more extreme in the end. Now, don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean that you can never agree with anyone ever. It's not like you listen to one person who agrees with you and then you just turn into a terrorist or something, but it's a very slight change. And slight, right? 100,000 slights is what makes an extreme. Now, it's also important to realize that political polarization fuels itself. When we don't want to talk to anyone from the other side, then all we have is like-minded people to talk to, which leads to that group polarization. But obviously, that's not the only thing that leads to polarization. I mean, everyone expects this. Everyone knows this is coming right now. But one of the big ones in this day and age, it's social media. I think at this point, pretty much everyone knows that they have these algorithms that try to, systematically get us to spend the most time possible on these websites. But it doesn't take an algorithm to figure out that one of the best ways to get people to spend time on a thing is just to make them feel some kind of emotion. And this goes for everything. And that goes for everything. You only read so much of a book because it makes you feel either happy or sad or curious. And this goes for video games too. I think most of the time that we spend on video games, we're just pissed off. I mean, a lot of the games that I play, I just get super angry at.
Fuck!
I think this is the entire reason that Dark Souls even exists. And you can see this happen real time in social media. Sometimes I see a post that is about one of my favorite games of all time or something, and I'm just like, dude, I have to say something. I gotta be like, yo, I love this game so much. But there's also times where you see someone say something online that's so outrageous that it feels like a moral wrong to not say something. And then there you go, you're gonna say something. And they get more engagement, which means more clicks, which means more engagement, which means more views, which means more engagement, which means more money, which means they're gonna keep doing it, which means the companies get more money, which means they're gonna wanna make those people more famous, and they're gonna get more views, and then it's a cycle, it goes forever, it goes forever. Gone are the days of simple disagreements. We have the most emotionally provocative content possible. In one of the debate spheres that I watch online, they don't call it debates, they call it blood sports. But I can't just leave it there. There's gotta be a way to fix it, right? And there absolutely is. There's a lot of things we can do. Ironically, one of the biggest ways that people have found of combating polarization is just educating people on what the other side actually thinks. We hear these super extreme voices now. Everyone's at each other's throats. But most people are actually just pretty chill. Most people just want what's good for the world. And they just might see the world a little differently. At the end of the day, most people have the same core values. We just kind of disagree on how to go about it. That leads me to my next point. We really have to fix our relationships with these people too. By these people, I mean people on the other side of us. Because obviously all of you agree with me on everything, right? We don't have to agree with anything that anyone else says, but we should at least try to understand them. And it's really important that we have some people on the other side that we can have positive relationships with. Or else you're never going to be inclined to understand them at all. Why would you want to understand someone you hate? It's still good to you, but it's hard. It's a lot harder. And the biggest one might be social media. As users, we have so much more power than we realize. All we have to do is stop engaging with this emotionally evocative content. And, listen, I'm not gonna do it. It's hard. But you can be a better person than me. And maybe, just maybe, we could all live in harmony? Sorry, that was fucking stupid. I'm not putting that in the video.